Good evening. Hello, everyone. In today's short tutorial, I wanted to help IT recruiters. So this tutorial is addressed to IT recruiters, and it will be about scrapping, which is a part of data extraction. So if you ever wondered how to automate processes, how to make your work efficient, that's the right place to know basic about that. So you will learn how to find information. Because I think this is the most important step. And here I wanted to talk about GitHub. I don't know. So as you see already on my screen, GitHub is a place where programmers or technical people can keep their solutions to problems. It is open source, so you can create something there, put it there, and it's available for everyone. Why this is especially important for IT recruiters is that there is a lot of profiles. So it's similar to LinkedIn, but it's not so much oriented on business at the moment, especially. But there is a lot of information about how many contributions somebody has, what is the activity, what kind of technologies, how many projects somebody has participated. So this is like a portfolio for IT people. So for IT recruiter is especially important because you can filter out candidates which will be very close to what you are looking for. So that's my main thing is here that you need to know where to look for, because in nowadays we are flooded with information, and we need to pick up the right places from which we want to take data for ourselves. And always remember to be gentle with data, not to overuse it, scrap it only when you need it. And especially scrapping is about as you see, you have a website here. So scrapping is about taking the information from the website, but the website itself contain not structured data. So we need to scrape this data in some specific way and give it a structure, so we can then use it for other purposes. So this is about the GitHub. And by the way, so this tutorial, this is the link here, but I will put it under the video as well. Yeah, and we will work on this project. So you can just download the project. It's open source, and you can check everything. The main file is here, tutorial. If you will check this, you will have a similar flow as we are talking right now. Okay, so what next? So this is the introduction to the project. The goal is to automate extraction of publicly available information from LinkedIn, but directly it's difficult to be done. I'm describing how this could be done, something about the Google search, GitHub search. And at the end, if you have any understanding of Python, then you can already run spiders. And we are using Scrappy. Scrappy is an open source framework that allows you to easily create spiders, which will scrap the content from websites and create items. In Scrappy language, item is a container. It gives structure to unstructured data units. Okay, next, what I wanted to tell you is as well, and this is this tutorial file. So I'm answering some of the questions, so you can just follow it. And one important question is like Robotstxt. If you if for you it is as well important like SEO, search engine optimization, so robots is very important as well to know. And as we see here on the Wikipedia, is a standard used by websites to communicate with web crawlers and other web robots. So web crawlers and web robots use scrapping techniques to extract content from the websites. And this Robotstxt file tell them which sites of website they should scrap, or maybe which they shouldn't scrap, and how often they should do it. The main purpose is to not overuse the website server resources, so not to scrap it all the time. And this is very important for you as well, to be gentle with the website. Don't do it, if you don't need it. Don't scrap too much data. Just, be aware of what you're doing. It's really important, because somebody owns the website, and if you do the scrapping all the time, then maybe he has to pay more, for it, or maybe he has wrong statistics and he cannot analyze the traffic or something. Yeah, so that's one case. And if it goes about, for example, somebody could wonder if it's legal to scrap. And if the data is public, then you can scrap it. But this is my personal opinion. So this is each time you want to scrap some data from the website, you always need to check it out. And if it's not clear, you need to read it in the website the legal section, and just find out if it's okay. But on this, for example, in the Wikipedia, we see that the Robotstxt use allow and disallow keys, but the protocol is purely advisory and relies on the compliance of the web root. This is like advisory information for your crawler. It's nothing like it tells you. Yeah, it's here. Like I think it's written here as well. You can go through it, but yeah. Okay, next. What is as well very important, and what I found in GitHub itself. For example, if I will go, this is my profile. I'm just keeping to that. I don't want to expose information about other people. Yeah, if you will check, the DOM, if you don't know, so the DOM is a structure for each website written in HTML. And there is a concept like Schema org. I recommend to check it. And why this is important? Our main players like Google and Microsoft, Yahoo, Yandex, they have started this initiative. Why? Because they wanted to make web more scrappable, so it's easier to take the data. So even if the HTML has unstructured data structure, you can use a schema to describe this data. And this specifically this person, is used by GitHub on this web page. And how this is indicated, I don't know if I will be able to find it. Yeah, it's here. So when a web crawler scrap this page, it will check that this page contains item type of schema person, and it will know that those attributes listed here can be found, not all of them, but if any attributes will be found on this page, they will obey this schema. So this is very important, because if you will go farther right now, so how we do it with the Scrappy. As I told you, in the Scrappy you can define items, and items is a structure for unstructured data that you scrap from the website. At the moment I have two here. One is the schema org person, and it refers to what I have just shown you. And the second one is for extraction of Google addresses from Google search, but I will tell about that in a second. So those information can be scrapped from a GitHub personal webpage. So that's here. So that's the structure, and this is so there are two spiders in the project. You have a GitHub and Google. You can just use the code and check it. And I wanted to tell you, so for example, if you're not familiar with the programming, this may look, you may not understand it, but the base thing is that we are iterating over types like person. So in this side we have only one, And there are special syntax that the Scrappy allow you to target DOM elements by XPath. This is a query language, and CSS. So classes, you have ID. If you haven't heard about that, I recommend to read because it will help you to understand how to extract the data. Yeah, and you can do it, and I simply do it. So I just address the schema org that I find, and then extract all of the existing properties. And then those properties as passed further. In Scrappy, there is something like pipeline. So when the spider extracts the data, you have a pipeline, and then the data that the spider has extracted goes to the pipeline. And in the pipeline we have in this project, our pipeline will see those items, and then I'm doing something with them. So it's up to you. You can save them into database. You can save them into the file. But in this project, I'm saving them into the file. So if you will run this Scrappy for GitHub Spider, you will obtain a JSON file with specific information. Yeah, so that's about this. And if you wonder, do you need Python? So I am experienced with Python, but in my opinion, you don't need to be experienced in Python to scrap the data and automate your work, create leads and be more efficient. You don't need it. But for example, structure of this is pretty simple. It's like logical structure, very clean. You will need to have some understanding of a DOM. So how the website is created, what is DOM, what is CSS. It's good to have understanding what is XPath, because XPath it was created not directly for web, I think, but this is a query language. So this is a way how you ask about data available in a website. And Scrappy is using this technique, and it's very powerful and easy. So this is the syntax. It's nothing about the programming. It is just a language that you have to know. And here we have only a loop. So we just iterate over the items twice, then save this data. And I believe me, but that this is not complicated. So when you know how to create the spider, and you know how to create this item pipeline, then you can scrap it already. But to be honest, it is much more important to know from where to scrap than how to do it, because there is so many websites that host the data that you need to filter out which place is the most important for you to start. I decided that the GitHub will be the right place for IT recruiter, because on the GitHub you have a lot of information about the user activity and technologies, and with that you can start. So let's go further. What do we do here? I just wanted to show you the project blueprint. Okay, so I plan that we will scrap from GitHub using GitHub query language. We narrow the data by location and technology, then we get the person data. We are using person name and surname to obtain LinkedIn addresses. And then we can use LinkedIn addresses to get more information about the person, like experience, employment history, I don't know, maybe some opinion left by team members, and all the things that you have on the LinkedIn. But with LinkedIn, it's a problem, because LinkedIn has very strict rules. Although it is legal to scrap the publicly available link and websites, but they quickly discover that you do some unusual operation that the human would not do, and they block your IP, which I will show in a second. Okay, and now so that's it. And now, if you are interested, you can do it by yourself. You don't need to have a Scrappy or Spider. For example, that's a GitHub page. Most of the pages which host a lot of data has some kind of query language, because there is so much information that you need to narrow it. And GitHub has its own. You can check it out. You can just write like github.com search query language. And you can specify here location. I put it Russia, language, or you can put Python, will work too. And then you have a user. You have all the information. You see how many users there is and so on. And for example, that now, and now we have another place. So let's assume that we have run the spider. We have information about the candidates from the GitHub, and we want to retrieve a link to LinkedIn. Yeah. And the Google search, if you haven't used it before in that way, write Google.com search operators or query language too. For example, when you specify site and then colon, you can narrow your results to a specific page only. So what I did here, I told Google search to look only on the GitHub.com and look only for EP, like those letters. And this sign, when you use it, excludes like COVID-19 phrases, because I'm not interested in those projects. Then you have those information. Yeah, and in our case, if we would have a result from GitHub, but there is no LinkedIn linked, you can just run this, and it's my profile, yeah? So now we can open it. As you see, I was doing some scrapping before, I think, and Google and LinkedIn maybe remember my IP or maybe I have some cookies in the browser. So that's why we will need something else too to make efficient scrapping. And I do not recommend to authorize a spider with your personal LinkedIn account, because I think it is not legal to scrap by using your user account. When you are using LinkedIn services, you are obey to some agreement, and I think it's not possible. Yeah, but I was blocked here. So as you see, it's not so easy, but I have the link. And I wanted to tell you as well what we will have after scrapping the GitHub and LinkedIn. We have something like that, is my profile. So you know that my name, my profile name, that I work remotely. If I would have some other location, you would see, for example, Poland or Russia, I don't know. In my case, I have already a LinkedIn URL in my GitHub, but not everyone has. So that's why we are discovering later on. And programming languages. Programming languages are here because on GitHub you can pin top repositories that you would like show to other people. So the one which are the most important for you. And then you have already the technologies that somebody has is specializing, yeah. And at the end, when we go through Google, we extract the link for LinkedIn. Yeah, so we have that. Read the whole tutorial page. And at the end, what I wanted to tell you. So with LinkedIn, it's difficult to scrap. That's why there are something like Proxy Crawl, for example. I use that. You have some free credits, so try it for free, create an account, and how it works, Proxy Crawl is a proxy that you use to scrap the results. So there is I don't remember exactly if they tell you right now, but you have your token and you specify the URL parameter like here, and you can scrap a specific website. What is nice, if you want to scrap the LinkedIn, you don't even need to know about spiders and items and things related to this Python framework, because on the Proxy Crawl they have already spiders or some processes which know how to handle specific data from big websites, from LinkedIn, from Amazon, I don't know, maybe more. So what you will not get a pure HTML, you will get already a JSON. So you will get already a structure. They know what to scrap from specific website. And this would allow us to finalize the pipeline, as I was showing here. So that's the place. We have the LinkedIn addresses, and we run them through Proxy Crawl. Proxy Crawl returns us information, and then we can supplement our model with employment history, opinions, more technologies, and so on, and we have a full profile. And then if you know exactly that, for example, you are looking for somebody from Poland who specialize in Python and R and have 2 or 3 years of experience and have some opinions, and I don't know, maybe has some certificate, then you can achieve that in that way. Maybe you will narrow your search to 10 or 20 people. And for me, this is totally okay, because at the end, you will send the messages to people who you think will be the most interested. Maybe you should as well check if those person are really interested in your offer, to not spam them. In my opinion, scrapping is very powerful and will allow you to automate your processes, to generate more profit, and to stand out from, to be more professional than other IT recruiters. You can say that I know how to scrap the data. I know how to capture insights from unstructured data, and to speed up my work, to bring more value to my clients. So not everyone can do it. And in nowadays, you should specially focus on how to be present in the new reality, in this digital age, yeah? Because there is so many information and you cannot do it manually all the time. So I was telling you about the proxy crawl. The last thing is, if you will ever think about writing a spider, as I'm showing here, you can write just the spider and not care about the infrastructure. That's the scrapping hub. In the scrapping hub, you can just place your spider code and all the scrappy code, and scrapping hub will take care of infrastructure. So that's another benefit of you don't need to know how to set up the Amazon account, how to buy EC2 instance, and enter into the Linux Ubuntu server, install everything, and make it running, open all the ports. You don't need to care about that. So that's great with Scrapping Hub, because they will take care of it, and you can just focus on the logic. So yeah, and that's it for today. So this was from Tex. And yeah, we are IT solution for startups and businesses, as you see, smart IT consulting company. Recently, we are starting to opening a new area with workshops and academy, and this tutorial is a very first step. So what I want to tell you here is that we will provide courses which will help you to acquire new digital IT skills. You will be much more efficient, you will generate better results, and you will stand out from the crowd, because you will know how to use open source technologies. And last thing, remember, always think from where you take data, because that's the very important part. In this example, for IT recruiter, the GitHub makes sense, but there is more places from where you can take the data. And remember about open source technologies and free resources. As I show you, GitHub and Google Search and GitHub Search offer a query language, which you can already use to automate your work, to find specific data you are interested in. So yeah, there is a lot of things to know. Yeah, subscribe and let me know if that was interesting for you. And if you would be interested to know more about Proxy Crawl or like this scrapping hub, then maybe I will make a next tutorial and showing how to place spider in the scrapping hub. Yeah, and how to, make a real use of the project that I introduced to you. Okay, thank you for listening and see you.